felt the effect of the last year on our collective mental health. We all would agree on many topics that we're going to be discussing in today's video. As mentioned, today's video, the topic will be all about the mental health, but I will be referring to my understanding of the same. My name is Julia George. I used to be a cabin crew and flew for Qatar Airways for 10 years, where I have resigned from my last work position as a cabin service director. And most probably you're asking, am I eligible to talk about mental health? At the beginning, I want to distinguish and say that I'm not a medical personnel, but I consider that I have this tiny eligibility to speak about the mental health. I'm a criminologist by profession. I graduated Police Academy in Macedonia and it's part of my bachelor degree education. I'm currently studying aviation management master program at Wildau Institute of Applied Science near Berlin. And when it comes to my studies as a criminologist, I would like to mention as a startup point on how I came to the mental health topic and how I got familiarized with what is actually mental health. During our education and during the study program, we paid huge attention in our studies of issues that are related to the mental health and the correlation that the mental health has with the criminal justice. We also focused on the legal structure and the social definition of the mental health. We considered and we looked at the dynamics of the inter-system processing when it comes to the mental health topic. We also looked at policing of the mental health issues, and then last but not the least, we reconsidered and we studied the definition of the management of deviant behavior or behaviors that are against some social norms, let's say. During our studies, we looked at the conviction, at the incarceration, we looked at the parole of the mentality disorder offender, etc., etc. But we're not going to be talking about all those things in today's video. We're going to be talking only on the first part, which is familiarization of what is the mental health. I will tell you basically what does the mental health means to me. And also I will share with you challenging moments that I've had during this past year when COVID happened and all of these things. What are the things that I have taken into consideration? And last but not the least, I'll try to make this YouTube video as pragmatic as I can. So as I have said, a little bit of the mental health knowledge that I have as a criminologist incorporated with my experience and how I understand my mental health. I will share with you some interesting insights on this topic, and I think that this is equally interesting and equally important to the current cabin crew, to the cabin crew that have been laid off, and also to the candidates who are preparing to be in this very challenging work position. I've been in the work position of a cabin crew for 10 years and I've been away from my family. I've been through a lot of challenging moments and I will try to present them to you in this video and how I have coped with them. So you might also want to click the subscribe button for the many videos that are coming, and let's start. The COVID or coronavirus pandemic with the high rates of laid off that have been happening in the aviation industry, and with all the political changes around the world that are happening have helped to drive up a huge amount of stress among all of us, irrespective we are candidates for the cabin crew role or we are someone who wants to work in aviation or we have been cabin crew and have been laid off. This is also pretty much applicable to the people who are in the current cabin crew position because they're all afraid of what's coming next. We all have faced feelings of depression, of anxiety, of all sorts of uncomfortable feelings within ourselves. And I think that, as I have mentioned on the question when aviation is going to recover, it will take months, perhaps it will take even years to fully heal of what we are experiencing right now as a society. But in the meanwhile, today's video is made with a strong desire to share with you how we can cope with this, how we can overcome these hard times, and hopefully be those people who's going to win at the end of the day. Now, let's talk about the mental health. What is the mental health? How we understand it? Now, I understand that a good mental health is about feeling well in your own mind. Now, some people, they call it mental health, some people will call it emotional health, or will call it an emotional well-being. And I think that it's important as much as our physical health. Our brain should be healthy, and we should be able to make a huge difference in our mood, in our level of happiness, and in our overall way of how we look into our own individual lives. Now, in order to achieve that, all of us together, me and you watching this video, we really need to work on taking care of our mental health and our entire well-being. And in today's video, as I have mentioned, I will share with you a few ways on how I am doing that. And I think that by achieving those things, by trying to stay in a good mental health condition, we can make the most of our potential, because we all have potential. Remember, we are all good at something. By having a stable mental health, we can cope with life and with all the problems that we are encountering, and there's no person who doesn't have problems. We can also play a full part in our family, in our workplace, in our community, among our friends. We can do all the things in a much better and more qualitative manner and way if we are aware at which stage our mental health is. From the time I've lost 15 kilos, I represent one view which says that the important part of keeping fit and healthy is to take care about your mental health. There are plenty of things that we can do, you, me, together, that we can do to make sure that we keep each other, or we keep ourselves, our mental health at the highest, or mentally healthy. The first thing which I will recommend to you, but I currently don't do it for myself for quite some time, is to get plenty of sleep. Sleep is really important, and it's important for our physical and for our mental health. Sleep helps to regulate the chemicals in our brains that are transmitting informations, and these chemicals are very important when we are managing our moods and our emotions. And if we do not get enough sleep, we can start to feel something called anxiety, or even feeling depressed. I have to share with you that as a mother of 1.5-year-old daughter, I really struggle to get enough sleep, and there are times when I have felt very anxious and very depressed, and I have my ways of how I've handled that. I have contacted a psychologist, I have had few sessions, and that really helped me. So try in every situation that you're experiencing something, you're a new mother, or you simply cannot sleep, there are ways. Talk to your general practitioner who's going to guide you to the specialist, which will help. The second thing which I will recommend to you is eat well. Now, eating well, it's not just important for our body, but it's also important for our mind. It's all related to taking enough vitamins, and I've read that certain minerals deficiencies, such as iron, vitamin B12 deficiencies, they can also give us a feeling of a low mood. So try to eat a balanced diet, and if you find that you are particularly stressed, or you are, let's say, a particularly anxious person, you should try to limit or to cut off the caffeine. And sometimes taking a lot of caffeine can actually make you feel more anxious. I would also recommend to you to avoid alcohol, to avoid smoking, and to avoid drugs. Before my pregnancy, actually when I became pregnant, I stopped alcohol. I was a social drinker. I never smoked and never used drugs. During the pregnancy, of course, drinking alcohol, it's absolutely forbidden, but I've continued that habit after my pregnancy, and I must share with you that I feel amazing, as I'm somebody who's really into sports, I exercise, so I really don't prefer. Sometimes when I used to drink before, a few drinks can make me feel, instead of lifting my mood, they can make me feel more depressed, they can make me feel more anxious the next day. So I also find it hard to concentrate. Therefore, I really enjoy not drinking, and excessive drinking can also prolong periods, periods can lead you to serious health problems, and you will have headaches, perhaps you will have memory problems, maybe motor coordination, confusion, eye problems whatsoever. Depends on how long the person is taking alcohol. I'm definitely not eligible to talk about it, this is a very this is a subject that should be elaborated by a doctor when it comes to drinking alcohol. But when it comes to smoking, what I can share with you is that if you smoke between cigarettes, your body and your brain will go into withdrawal, which will make you feel irritated and will make you feel anxious. And I will stick to it. This is one of the reasons why the cabin crew, let's say in Qatar Airways, are selected based on this criteria. There should be no non-smoker, because simply in the airplane on long flights you can't lighten up a cigarette, and because of the reason that I have mentioned, in order to avoid that, it is highly recommended that you're not a smoker. When it comes to drugs, I'm also not eligible to talk about it, and maybe if you're somebody who have been using drugs and you're using them, I don't know, on occasions, you might want to research more about it, and you might also contact a general practitioner in order to get more insight on that and have help as much as that is possible. Because I personally believe, and I think that alcohol, cigarettes and drugs are something that we should stay away from in order to have a quality life and a good mentally healthy condition of ours. Another point which I'm coming through and actually has happened to me was the sunlight. During one blood checkup, I found out that I had a very low vitamin D level. Now, vitamin D is really important vitamin for our bodies and for our brains. It also helps our brains to release chemicals which can improve our mood, like they call it endorphins or serotonin. And if you're somebody who doesn't go out at the sun, please try to go outside as much as you can, but make sure your skin and your eyes are safe. And it is recommended that 30 minutes to 2 hours a day of sunlight is ideal. And during the winter time, as I currently, let's say, live in a place where winters are very long, it can become very challenging when it comes to getting sunlight or getting enough sunlight. So I have experienced exactly what I have said, a very low vitamin D level, and also my mood over here was very low. I was feeling very sad, and as soon as I found out that I have low vitamin D, I have started taking vitamin D. And also there is something called light therapy lamp, which helps you to get that sunlight, which over here in Germany where I live, we don't have it much. So another thing which I will share with you is to manage stress. Now, stress is often unavoidable, we cannot avoid it, but knowing what triggers your stress and knowing how to cope is the key in maintaining good mental health. Now, try to manage your responsibilities, try to manage what worries you, what you're supposed to finish first and what you're going to finish last in the list on a small schedule, where you can prioritize things, what you're going to finish first, what you're going to finish later or tomorrow, in order to have that stress at the minimum. Often, if you break down your worries and your stresses and whatever that is happening, sit down and just reconsider the things, write them down and think about it, and I'm sure you're going to come to a solution where everything is manageable. But you just have to vent it out a little. This is actually the question that many people are asking me, how to cope with all the duties and responsibilities that I have as a mother, as a wife, as somebody who works, who's active on social media. I really try my very best to stay away from things that are lifting my stress level up. Often I fail to do that, I have to be honest with you, but that doesn't mean that when I fail, I'm supposed to just, forget about it the next time I'm stressed. I try to remind myself that there are things that are not in my control, let's say, and if I cannot handle it and if they stress me, I try to stay away from them. But if I have to manage them, then I would definitely sit down, write them on a piece of paper, as I have mentioned, and I would think about the solutions, and I would think about who can help me to solve them. That is very, very important, to think that you're not alone. There are also resources around you. Resources are your family, your friends. Anyone can be with you and can help you. You only have to ask for the help. The other thing which I come to is my favorite part. It's called make yourself activities and exercise, because it's very essential in maintaining a good mental health. Being active is not only giving you sense of the achievements, but also will boost chemicals in your brains, which I talk a lot about in this video, that will help you to lift your mood up, to make you basically feel better. Now, exercising can also help to eliminate low mood, anxiety, stress, can help you feeling less tired, feeling less lazy. It has helped me. It's helping me with so many years of exercising to eliminate exactly what I have said. It is also linked to living a longer and more happier life. You don't need to run a marathon, or you don't have to, play 90 minutes football or whatsoever. Just, take a short walk or do some gentle activity, yoga, whatsoever. Find what suits you, what makes you feel good. There are a lot of sports, there are a lot of exercises out there that are recommended on the internet. Try to explore them, try to read the reviews, set in your calendar the dates whenever you're gonna do it. You don't have to exercise every day, but my personal recommendation and how I do it, I exercise 3 to 4 times a week, besides eating well and having that balanced diet. What also I would like to recommend is try to make your time for doing all the fun things that you enjoy. If you're somebody who likes to go for a walk, take your best friend with you, go for a walk. If you like painting, or let's say a specific TV show or a series that you're watching, then do it. Just make yourself that schedule of a thing that you're gonna enjoy with yourself. If you do not spend any time doing all these things, you can really become an unhappy person. Something that has helped me a lot during my flying career, but this is just also my personality, is I try to be connected with others, and I'm a very sociable person. I always make efforts in maintaining good relationships and to talk to people whenever I get the chance. So you will always see me in a supermarket talking to people around me. But having friends is important, not just for your self-esteem, but also for providing support when you're not feeling so great. So you make friends, you support them, but you also have those people who's going to be supporting you back. There are a lot of researchers out there which have found out that talking to others for just 10 minutes can actually help us to improve our memory. And it's going to be a boost for ourselves, and we will be feeling good about it. Now, whether or not you're going to find out that meeting people is difficult for you, you have to give it a try. I have said in some of my previous videos that if you're a person who doesn't like to talk to people, doesn't like to talk to strangers, how about changing that habit and try to talk to a stranger today, and try to see what you can do for yourself in situations when you are basically you don't know how to start. Step out from that comfort zone of being closed. Open yourself. Start talking to strangers. At least hi, hello would be a step forward from you being in that stress level or in that closeness that you are within yourself. It's gonna be a really plus point, and you will really start feeling better and better. I also would recommend something that I do constantly, and most of you know this, but I would say please do as much as you can things for other people. I always do that. I answer messages, I interact with people, I talk to my friends, because helping others is not just good for the people that you're helping, it is also good for you too. Because when you're helping someone, you're helping your own self-esteem, and you're starting to feel good about yourself. Maybe at the beginning you're not going to be aware of it, but then as you receive the appreciation, you will start feeling good about yourself. Feeling as you are part of a community, the feeling that you belong to a community, it's really important for your mental health. You will feel kind of useful, if I may say so. You could also try volunteering in some of your, local charities or in your neighborhood around. Ask people whether they need help. This is also important for your CV. Volunteering is also something that can cover up your gaps in your CV. I've talked about it in my videos about the CV preparations and stuff like that. And also in situations like this, when it comes to our mental health, you will definitely be feeling good when you know that you have helped someone. There is no shame of asking people or someone that you don't know for support. If they need it, ask them. And also there is no shame to ask someone to give you support and help if you feel low or you feel stressed. Every one of us now at this moment, we're going through patches where we don't feel as good as we should because of the reason I've mentioned at the beginning, COVID-19 and the entire pandemic all over the world. You can try speaking to your friends, try speak to your family, or as I have mentioned, you might also want to speak to your general practitioner or find an online psychologist. I have found an online psychologist. It's Zero Limit Psychologist. Here is her Instagram account. You might want to follow her and you might want to ask her for advices. Our interaction with Zero Limit Psychologist started very unoccasionally until we went really deep into a lot of talks, which I indeed, after the few sessions, helped me feel much better and much aware of the importance of my personal mental health. As I have said, the mental health topic is something that I'm very aware of, as it was part of my studies, as I mentioned at the beginning, and I have experienced a lot of periods when I've not been feeling well when I was a cabin crew, but what are the things that I have done in the very same moment when I'm feeling depressed, I feel anxious, I'm having a low mood, I have doing all the things that I have previously mentioned from the beginning of this video. Last but not the least, click the subscribe button, share your comments below, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Bye bye and have a nice day.